Good evening, everyone. The 70th annual meeting of the Wings Club is now called to order. It has been an honor to serve as your president and have the opportunity to preside over tonight's proceedings. We will again adhere to the one clap rule when providing introductions and offering compliments. There will be an exception when we introduce Patty and we talk about our honoree for the gala coming in October. And thanks to Candace Adams-Kimmel, Maria Rosa, and their team for creating a video which we are now going to show you.
It's going to be a great year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tonight, we are honored to present the third annual Wings Club Iowa Outstanding Aviator Award.
They were drawn together for one of the most famous air missions in U.S. Army history. They volunteered for the extremely dangerous secret assignment without even knowing the mission. They were led by the then Lieutenant Colonel James Jimmy Doolittle. They are forever known as the Doolittle Raiders.
And now it is my distinct honor to introduce you to Major Tom Griffin. Tom, would you come up, please?
We had to learn an awful lot as we went along, and we had the wonderful good luck of having what we considered the greatest aviator of his time, Jimmy Doolittle, to inspire us and to teach us how to handle these aircraft.
Embraer, with its notable success in recent years, faces a future marked by more competitors. How is this prospect influencing Embraer's strategic planning, or is it?
Well, obviously the competitive landscape influences anyone's strategic planning. You cannot disregard what's going on around you. But we really try to focus our future on what we see as opportunities to serve customers. I just want to say a few words about where we are and how we see the industry. To start with some background information about the Embraer.
I brought this tomato up here because I told Ken when he asked me to do this site lecture that I would be satisfied if I got out of here, nobody threw any tomatoes at me.
I think what my role is as CEO of the organisation, I am the reference point for what this personality is and how it comes to life in our organisation. And telling stories is by far the most effective way that we communicate that sense of who we are and our identity to our people.
Does the CEO have a duty to his country? I posed this question before to CEOs, and frankly their answer was no. My duty is to my shareholders first.
You might be a business person, you might be a CEO, but I think you're a person and you're a human being first. And I really believe that the reason we were put on this earth was to make it a better place to live. And that's what we try to do each and every day.
In order to understand how Dutch airline industry succeeded in building her position, one can look back in Dutch history of sailing and pioneering. During the Golden Age, Dutch spirit of enterprises and pioneering becomes apparent. Following the examples of Spanish, British, French, Portuguese explorers, Dutch merchants start sailing over the oceans. Think global, act local.
Well, the number one criteria, if it's sort of tied for first, is you need to go where I want to go, so you got to have the schedule. And number two, it needs to be at the right price. At the right price, more people are going to travel, and of course we proved that many times over 4 decades. The extent that we, as an industry, can keep costs down and allow the economy to grow, I do think that we'll see an increase in traffic over time.
Now, Cathay Pacific was founded 67 years ago, interestingly, by an American and an Australian who were DC-3 pilots during World War II, flying the hump between Burma and Kunming, actually, serving the Burma Road. And I am slightly embarrassed to say, but I think actually Cathay Pacific was founded in a bar. It was founded at the bar of the Manila Hotel in the Philippines, which is actually quite a nice bar. Which shows that sometimes good things do happen in bars.
There's 140,000 employees right now. I'm saying this so that everybody can see this is still a rapidly growing company. Since the creation, we have added more than 50% in terms of employees, almost tripled our revenues. And again, if that's a matter of success, the company is developing very well, and to your answer, the future of EDS is bright.
Please join me in welcoming Christoph Müller back as our guest speaker. Christoph?
Nobody wants to end up as a hybrid carrier. Nobody wants really to be hybrid, but we are. But most importantly, hybrid does not mean that you have a little bit of legacy and a little bit of low cost. You know, it's not like mixing a Claret with a Lambrusco. Tastes awful, by the way. No, what our inspiration was to rather take the best of both. So it's more like, let's say, Red Bull with espresso.
Mr. Bruce Whitman, the CEO of Flight Safety International and co-chair of the Foundation Board.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wings Club's 70th Annual Gala. It's a great privilege to honor my good friend Jack Daly. Jack is most deserving of this special recognition. He has served our country and the aviation community with great distinction throughout his long and outstanding career.
Jack's career is legendary, but if you were to look only at his accomplishments on paper, you would miss out on the first thing that anyone who really knows him would tell you.
He's noted for being a hellraiser.
Awards take many shapes and forms, and they all have great significance, particularly to the individual that gets it, and that's the case here tonight for me. But I believe that the most important, the best awards, are the ones that come from your friends, and that's what this is to me. Thank you very much.
The Wings Club would like to thank all of our speakers for sharing their insight and inspiration with us this past year.
Tom, as you all know, is the general manager, took over from Harris Herman. And Tom, I just want to tell you what a great job you've done this year. So it's a pleasure to have worked with you, and thank you for everything. Thank you very much. Now, Do we have a quorum? All right, thank you, Tom. The chairs of the committees of the board have prepared annual reports for their activities, and these reports have been reviewed and approved, and they're in the back of the room if anyone would like to take a copy and review it. These include the reports will also be distributed to the entire membership in a future issue of the newsletter. Now, during the past year, we did our best to develop new initiatives to enhance the values and the benefits provided to members. These included a new conversational format for the monthly Aviation Leading Series luncheons, recognition of veterans groups and aviation-related foundations, reciprocal arrangements with other aviation clubs and organizations, discounts for members at New York City restaurants, and new metal name badges for members. Also, an online store offering Wings Club apparel and merchandise will soon be available. The new membership directory will be mailed in the very near future as well. Now, it's been a very big privilege for me to serve as your president, and we hope that this past year's accomplishments will serve the club well for many years to come. Kevin, will you please join me and give a report of the governance committee, please?
Mr. President, the following current members of the Wings Club Board have been nominated to serve on the Board of Governors for a 3-year term. I'll read them by name. Jim Albaugh, Susan Baer, Marlon Daly, Barry Eccleston, Todd Coleman, Jim Parker, Gary Spulak, and Greg Thomas. In addition, the following members of the Board of Governors have been nominated to serve a 2-year term: Brian Bedford and Ray Connor. We also have 2 new nominations to the Wings Club Board for 3-year terms, and that includes Mike Vandeven, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Southwest Airlines, and Ben Baldanza, the President and CEO of Spirit Airlines. And of course, Mr. President, we have to nominate you and ask you to stay for 1 more year on the board as past president. Thank you very much. Are there any nominations from the floor? No nominations from the floor? I will now close the nominations. Can I have a motion to elect, please, the candidates for the board? And seconded? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now move to the report on new Golden Eagles. In 1990, the Board of Governors voted to establish a new category of membership, one that would recognize and honor those long-term members who have given and continue to give their support to the Wings Club. Members of this honorary group, whose combined length of time in the club and life are equal to or greater than 120 years for men and 95 years for women, are known as the Golden Eagles. The difference in criteria is due to the fact that women were not permitted to join until 1970, 28 years after the founding of the club. There are two new Golden Eagles this year: Frederick Beck, elected in 1979, and Robert Wohl, elected in 1972. Now, unfortunately, they're not able to be here tonight. Their certificates and Golden Eagle pins will be mailed to them.
This is the fun part of the evening here, where we get a chance to salute some great people in aviation. And tonight, we will present, in conjunction and partnership with the International Association of Women in Aviation, the 4th Annual Outstanding Aviator Award. And you'll be hearing more about the Iowa organization from Milan Skolnick, who's here with us tonight, a representative of their board, because you need to understand why we're cooperating and what their organization represents. We created this award to recognize aviators, and specifically aviators, whose actions have resulted in major contributions to aviation and who serve as role models to all of us. As many of you know, our first award was to the Tuskegee Airmen, and those of you who were here that night, it was a spectacular evening. We invited 6 of them, and 50 of the families came. It was a great evening. The second year, we had the Women Air Force Service Pilots, or as better known as the WASPs, or as they said that night, the Pistol-Packing Mamas. And our third award last year was to Doolittle Raiders, and Major Tom Griffin represented the Raiders here. And I'm just a note that he passed away 2 weeks ago, a great man, and so we're very fortunate to have preserved his award with us. And I think that, Kevin, you may have been to that session with him, the service. Tonight, we are very proud and sort of a step in a new direction. This is very contemporary, real time. We're presenting our 4th annual Outstanding Aviator Award to Patty Wagstaff, arguably, and we argued over it earlier tonight, arguably the premier aerobatic pilot in the world. And I asked her if she wants to limit herself to the world, and she said, for the time being. Those of us who have known Patty over the years, we've seen her perform and continue to be in awe of her endurance, her skill, her courage, and I guess endurance more than anything else, because when you see her routines, you'll understand what I mean. I won't even begin to list the multitude of awards that she's received, but I would like to provide some geographic perspective on where she has performed. Patty has performed across the U.S., in addition to that, Canada, Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, Argentina, Iceland, that must have been interesting, the UK, France, Switzerland, Russia, Hungary, Singapore, and still counting. She's very much in the fray these days. She is truly a role model to all of us in all segments of aviation, and I would ask you now to watch this video to see why I said what I did.
Patty Wagstaff flies one of the most thrilling, low-level aerobatic demonstrations in the world. Flying before millions of people each year, her breathtaking performances give airshow spectators a front-row seat view of the precision and complexity of modern, unlimited, hardcore aerobatics. If you've seen her fly, you'll never forget it. She is razzle-dazzle personified. Patty grew up in and around airplanes, moving to Japan when she was 9 years old, where her father was a captain for Japan Airlines. When she was 10 years old, her father let her take the controls of his DC-6, and her lifelong love affair with airplanes began. It never occurred to her that flying was just for the guys. All she ever saw was romance and excitement. Patty pushed herself to the leading edge of the sport, pioneering maneuvers not previously possible, like her signature multiple vertical snap rolls. By 1985, 5 years after gaining her pilot's license, she earned a spot on the U.S. aerobatic team and became the first woman ever to win the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships 3 years in a row. In 1994, her airplane, the Extra 260, was placed on exhibit in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Patty's airplane is between those of Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart's, an auspicious honor for a determined and persistent champion. Later, in 2004, Patty was enshrined into the National Aviation Hall of Fame, earning her position as one of modern aviation's most recognized trailblazers and ambassadors. In a field dominated by men, Patty's accomplishments broke barriers and opened doors for other women to follow. Standing on the shoulders of the great female aviators who came before her, she took their legacy and ran with it. To those who question her abilities because she is a woman, Patty responds, "Do you think the airplane knows or cares?" Patty Wagstaff, a woman dedicated to the sport and art of aerobatics, carries her passion for flying to audiences everywhere, setting the standard for performers the world over, and eagerly engaging her audience at each show, inspiring young women to compete with men on equal footing, and inspiring all to set goals and pursue their dreams.
Joining me tonight is Milan Skolnick, who is the board member from Iowa, who's representing the team tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about our partnership. And Milan and I have initiated this award 4 years ago, and we're still at it. Yes. So Milan, to you.
Thank you. Good evening. Ken, thank you so much. And we're very grateful to the Wings Club for this partnership. This allows us to work together and to try to promote women in this industry. I would like to thank a member of our boards at Iowa. We have Susan Baer, who's here with us. We have Laurence, Vigeant Langlois. Do we have any other of Iowa's board member? Ellen Slow. Thank you, and we have several of our members with us tonight. You would wonder how does Iowa gets involved with Patty in terms of choosing her as our recipient for this year. What she embodies for us is this search for freedom and this search for gender equality that at Iowa we're striving for. So thank you, Patty, for being with us tonight and for representing for us this search. As you can see, there's not many women in this audience, but we're working on it. Patty has received many awards and has done tremendous work for us, I guess. And what we do at Iowa since 1988 is we try to grow and promote women in transportation at leadership levels. So we promote and we provide networking avenues for women to meet, learn, inspire each other, and pull each other up. We do have an annual conference. We have about a dozen events every year in terms of regional receptions. Iowa Connect, we have affiliations with the Wings Club, obviously, and we are affiliated with ALTA, with ISTAT, and now recently we have an affiliation with ICAO and with IATA. So we're working very hard at getting our senior women to continue reaching the top. And what Patty does, some of our women are trying to do. I mean, recently you've heard that 3 big companies have appointed senior women at their top level, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, and BAE Systems. So this is really a big deal for us, and we hope that we'll continue reaching that level. We are really thankful for the Wings Club to give us this opportunity to share this award every year. And 2 years ago, if you were here with the WASP, as Ken had mentioned, it was really a blast to have these women show you that women can do as well as men when they work hard at it. They have the same skills and the same talent. That's what Iowa does, encouraging women to reach the top, and we want to thank you tonight for being here. Thank you.
Patty, on behalf of all of us, the Wings Club, International Association of Women in Aviation, and everyone here tonight, we'd like to present you with the 4th Annual Outstanding Aviator Award. If you remember Tom Griffin, when he said, when the ladies come up, he said, "This is the happiest part of the night."
Thank you.
Okay, Patty, the microphone is yours.
This is the hard part. That's easy. So the women are taking over. I don't know if you knew that. But that's thank you so much. It's a huge honor. I'm a little nervous, and I never get nervous flying an air show or a contest or flying in general. But airplanes are my happy, safe place to be, and everything else is harder. But I'm so honored. I had a great flight up here today from Jacksonville on U.S. Air, and I met some people tonight from U.S. Air, so thank you for having me, and thank you for having me here. I was telling some friends, or some people that I met actually the other night about this award, and one of the gentlemen at the table said, well, when you talk to groups, and I'm not going to give a big speech, so don't worry about that, but when you talk to groups, what's your message, especially when you talk to young people? And I said, well, I have a lot of different messages. It kind of depends on the group and depends on my mood and, what the event is. But one thing that I usually tell people, that I usually tell women, but of course it applies to anybody, is that no matter what you do, even if you're doing something that you don't like, and we all have to do things that we don't like in life, I've been a waitress and I've done all kinds of things, and not all of them have been flying. No matter what you're doing, make sure that you do a really good job and that you excel at it and that you show that you're the best at whatever you do. And it will lead to excellence in all areas of your life. And when you really find what you want to do, or where you're meant to be, people will take you seriously because they know that you excel at other things and that you take everything, that you take your jobs and your work seriously. And that got me thinking about excellence, and the people in the Wings Club, and just the quality of the people that you have as members are all devoted to excellence, and it's incredibly impressive. And the people that I know in the Wings Club, and from present and past, are all, that's what this club is all about, is about excellence. Your speakers and your mission, everything that you do. And of course that got me to thinking about aviation in general, and since I've been a little girl flying with my dad and around aviation my whole life, I've seen that as a part of aviation in every way. And I go outside aviation for a lot of different things. I ride horses and sometimes go to horse shows, and it's impressive what that world is about. But there's no world that I've ever been in like aviation, where from bush flying to recently I've been aerial firefighting in California, mechanics, line guys, everything in aviation, manufacturers, airlines, everything is about excellence. And I'm so proud to be part of the group and be part of that tradition. So keep up the amazing work, and thank you very much for including me in your group. And one thing about girls, I talked to a bunch of girls the other day from a aviation from a high school, an aerospace program in a local high school in Jacksonville. And the girls were all, some of them wanted to be pilots, some wanted to be engineers. And I said, listen, I got to tell you, flying's really easy. It's just practice. So don't worry about that. Girls make great pilots. And I said, as far as, engineers, I think women make the best engineers. So they actually quoted that in the local St. Augustine paper. I had no idea the paper was even going to be there, and they quoted this thing. It's easy. Girls make the best pilots, so just wanted to pass that on. I've had a lot of memorable experiences. I think there's a lot of airline types here that you'll appreciate this one. I was in Argentina flying for an invitational competition in a place called Mar del Plata, south of Buenos Aires. And at the end of the contest, we were flying up to, and we do air shows over the beach every day. It's a big resort area, and I know a lot of you have been there. And at the end of the contest, they asked me and another guy to fly a couple of little Pizzas, little biplanes, up to Buenos Aires to an airport called Morón, which used to be their main airport, and now it's Ezeiza, the big international airport. And we had a Baron Chase plane. He was talking on the radio to the controllers and different people that we had to talk to. We weren't talking to anybody. And our pilot in the Chase plane said, hey, we're almost to Ezeiza. We told them that we have 2 Pizzas on our wing, and they want to know if you'd like to come down and do a little air show. I mean, this is a huge airport. I'm sure most of you have been there, but it's like JFK, So we looked at each other and went, yeah, are you kidding? Of course. So we peeled off from the Baron and dove down and did this impromptu air show. No FAA. We're there, of course. Did this impromptu air show over, I think they had a cross runway, then they had 2 long runways, and I remember doing this pass. We were circling the tower, and and they loved it. I mean, I would not be here today if I tried this in anywhere, in the U.S., of course. I'd probably still be in jail. But I remember doing this one pass down a runway and looking up at a 747 cockpit, and the pilot's eyes just looking at me. It was so great. That was one memorable experience. I thought. Probably the other, another really cool one, and you brought up Iceland, was I was invited over there. They have a really great flying community in Iceland, of all places, and they have a lot of airports, a big aerobatic community for the size, great people, beautiful country, and the airports are really interesting. They have most of the airports, which they have all over the country. They have quite a network of small airports there. They have these inside the tetrahedron, where they have the windsock, is a little cabin. And the Icelanders are so civilized, it's great. And they have a, inside there in all their airports, outlying from Reykjavik, are survival cabins. So if you get stuck at an airport somewhere, in bad weather, which they have a lot of, you can go into one of these and they'll have food, a bunk, and whatever, water, that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. But when I got there, I didn't know I was going to be flying, and we were at Keflavik downtown, and they were opening a new terminal that day. They were dedicating it, and it coincided with the annual Airmen's Banquet that I was invited to go to. So they said, would you like to fly an air show? And I said, sure, yeah, that'd be great. And I looked at, I checked out the plane. It was little pits, and I said, okay, the plane looks good. So I went up and did this little show, and I was just, doing a few maneuvers. And anyway, I pulled up into a hammerhead. And with a hammerhead, you go straight up, and then you have no forward speed, and then you come straight back down. And as I came straight back down, we call them geysers, they call them geysers. This geyser erupted out of the ground at me. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm in Iceland, and this geyser erupts, because they're known for that. It was amazing to me that I got to do that, and looking down at that. So that was pretty cool. I have millions of experiences. Flying upside down over the Volga River with a Russian aerobatic champion in a yak. Right in 1991, it was 1 month after the fall of the Soviet Union. And we weren't, when I first, am I going on too long? No? When I had no idea I was going to be telling stories. We had a little exchange program with the Russian aerobatic team and the U.S. aerobatic team, and they had already been to the States a number of times during the Soviet era. And when the first time I was on the U.S. aerobatic team was 1986, and we went over to England, and there are all these different, 20 countries and so on, and we really wanted to meet the Russians, and we weren't allowed to talk to them. They weren't allowed to talk to us. Every time we'd try and talk to them, a KGB guy in a suit would come over and to stand there, and they were really intimidating. And those pilots, they weren't even allowed to go to the bathroom by themselves. They were under so much control and scrutiny. And their airplanes, these little Su-26 Sukhois, built by the same Sukhoi factory that builds their jets and so on. So, we always thought, gee, maybe Lockheed or one of them could build us an aerobatic plane, but so far that hasn't happened. But Sukhoi built this amazing plane, and it was there. It had no compass and only 16 gallons of fuel. And they shipped them there. They wouldn't allow them to fly there. They're so afraid of, defections. Anyway, just a very few short years later, 1991, we were invited to Russia to be part of this exchange program to train with them at their camp in Borky, north of Moscow. And it was, again, 1 month after the fall of the Soviet Union. And the first thing I did was a little orientation flight with a guy named Viktor Smolin, very famous Russian aerobatic pilot, world champion, ex-world champion. And he took me, we went up in this 2-seat yak, and we were flying down the Volga River. And this was a man I wasn't allowed to speak to just a few 5 years before. He still didn't speak much English, and I didn't speak much Russian, but It was just amazing to me that the country had been so close, and 1 month later, there we were. So, lots of great stories, and flying's made them all possible. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Patty, on all that you've done in the aviation industry. You're a great role model for all of us, so thank you for being here. It's our honor to honor you. Each year, as most of you know, at our annual awards gala held at the Waldorf Astoria, we honor a member of the industry with the Wings Club Distinguished Achievement Award. This is our highest honor. The award honors an individual who has made outstanding accomplishments to the field of aviation and astronautics. We're very pleased tonight to announce the selection of Jim Alba as this year's honoree. Jim is a member of our Board of Governors and is here, as you saw, and he's most deserving, of course, of this very prestigious award. And we all look forward, Jim, to honoring you on October 25th. Now, we're going to have a board meeting, and everyone here is invited to attend it, and it'll follow immediately. And then after that, we'll have refreshments. So I'd like to ask Tom Fitzsimmons again to come and see whether or not we have a quorum, Tom. All right, since there's a quorum present, may we have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 16, 2013 meeting? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Now, there's one piece of unfinished business from the club for the year that ends tonight, and Doug, a member of our board, will make a motion. Doug? Thank you, Doug. Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? The motion is adopted. The Governance Committee has proposed the following slate for the 2013-2014 club year. Nominations are President Kevin McAllister, Vice President and President-elect Barry Eccleston, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer John Pfluger, Counsel Bob Kraft. May I have a motion to elect the individuals I've just called out? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Congratulations and compliments to each of you. Now, it's my great pleasure, Kevin, to invite you to the podium. Now, we're very fortunate to have Kevin as our new president. Nothing could please us more, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
For doing
Thank you
it.
so much.
And we want you to accept this engraved gavel as your new role of the leader of the Wings Club. So enjoy that very much.
Great, thank you.
You
Thank
have
you,
our
Bruce.
full support, and we're looking forward to a great year.
Great, thank you very much,
The
Bruce.
meeting is yours, Kevin.
Thank you. You stay here a second, Bruce. First, I would like to thank and acknowledge you, Bruce. Aside from the fact that you're a terrific friend and a great personal mentor, you have done an outstanding job in leading the Wings Club over the past year. Now, we do have a special award for you. It is the President's Chair, as we so call it, but it wasn't practical to bring it here tonight and present it on stage, so I think it's either been sent or arrived at your home. We do have a photo of it for everybody. It is a beautiful chair. We can pass it around later on, but I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
I know you, Bruce, you won't sit anywhere for more than a minute, but at least it'll look great in the home.
Well, I'm a little young for a rocking chair.
And secondly, I'd like to present a plaque to Bruce. It reads, "Presented to Bruce Whitman in grateful appreciation for your dedicated services as president of the Wings Club, March 27, 2013. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you. Well, it's a tremendous honor to be here tonight and stand as your elected president, the 71st president of the Wings Club. You have my commitment to continue with hard work, the strong legacy of leadership that the Wings Club has had. You know, suddenly after listening to Patty tonight, this job looks like a piece of cake. Because I can honestly say I can't contemplate flying down a geyser in this role. I do want to thank the various members of the board for your advice and counsel, and also the past presidents, one of which really summed up the importance of this role when they said, Kevin, the Wings Club has been around since 1942. Don't mess it up. I think it's going to be an exciting year in 2013. When you look at the speaker series, we'll have another great lineup of speakers. These are so incredibly important to the ever-broadening aviation community as we capture insights, lessons learned, and thoughts from around the industry. And it certainly promises to be another terrific Wings Club gala as we recognize you, Jim. I can't wait for that. I'm hoping we break another attendance record this year. But I want to take a minute to reflect on not only the great things the Wing Clubs does, but also the good things. It's incredibly important as we engage our students. This is the next generation of aviation leaders. Having them at the speaker series, honoring them with scholarships is an incredibly important part of what we do. And our recognition of charitable organizations who use aviation to fulfill their purpose is also incredibly important. To that end, I'd like to announce a few strategic objectives to enhance the value proposition to our members. First of which will be this year to broaden our student reach. That'll start by expanding our student engagement at our speaker series. Tomorrow, we're going to be fortunate to have a table sponsored by Embraer of New York University students. We'll also have a table sponsored by American Airlines that includes students from Cornell, Vaughn College, and York College. We have a role to inspire these students in aviation careers. I'd like to see us take that mission a little farther and think about how we engage university faculties and university students in several on-site mini symposiums. These aren't individual recruiting visits. This is a chance for the Wings Club to visit a university and share not only the breadth but vitality of aviation careers to our next generation of leaders. Number two, one of the most, for me, one of the great personal experiences at these speaker series is recognizing the true heroes of our industry. I'd like to continue that at the luncheons this year, but with a special emphasis to those who use aviation to help people in need, whether it's medical care, disaster relief, or volunteerism. And I'll ask the board to please come forward with nominations of these very deserving heroes for recognition at the speaker series. And third, we're going to continue to grow the brand visibility of the Wings Club. As Bruce mentioned, we're launching branded apparel. Yes, that's hats, shirts, duffel bags, and we'll leave it right there, as well as the first annual Wings Club golf event. These will be great events to engage our membership across the board. So I think I'm looking forward to a fun, exciting board and a terrific year ahead for all of us. Thank you very much. Do we have any old business? If we have no old business, we'll move to new business. And I would like to announce the chairs of the 2013 committees. And I'd like them each to stand, and we will clap for them at the end of the list. So for awards, Jeff Niddle. I said we'll clap at the end. Development, Dave Barger and Dave McKay. For European Committee, Marlon Daly. Executive Committee, myself. Finance, Todd Coleman. Governance, Barry Eccleston. Historical and Education, Ken Gazzola. House, Barry Eccleston. Membership, Doug Walker and Gary Spulek. And Program, Mary Ellen Jones. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the slate. Seconded? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. The committee chairs are so approved. I'd like to remind everybody about tomorrow's monthly luncheon here at the Yale Club. It's featuring an exciting speaker, Tom Horton, chairman of AMR and American Airlines. It should prove to be a terrific luncheon. The next annual meeting will be held on Wednesday, March 26th, 2014. And now I'd like to invite everybody here to stay for an open house reception, which will follow immediately after adjournment. So thank you all very much. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Seconded? Thank you.